And the first video of my long-awaited tunnel series will be Fort Pitt Tunnel. I am on Interstate 376 eastbound and heading into downtown Pittsburgh in the Pittsburgh suburb of Green Tree, just descending what is called Green Tree Hill to Fort Pitt Tunnel. And on one of my first drive videos I did last year into Pittsburgh, I did feature the Fort Pitt Tunnel. This one's just a little bit updated, and here's quite a common occurrence is a backup before the tunnel. I have a little bit of poor timing here with the Pirates game, which starts at 4 o'clock. It's 3:27 p.m. right now. And yes, U.S. routes 22 and 30 are still running concurrent at this point with Interstate 376. And the local name for this freeway is the Parkway West. And it used to be, before it was rerouted and redesignated, this was Interstate 279, along with US 22 and 30. But 8 minutes till the tunnel. And the backup shouldn't bother you. They never really bother me. And as long as it's not at a prolonged standstill, which can happen, but my luck and experience always has been this is probably about the worst it gets. It can be any day of the week. It can be during the weekend, of course, with the aforementioned Pirates game, and well, with rush hour too, going the morning rush hour before. So, as I pointed out before, going downhill, if a semi can't stop, if it's a runaway truck, to the right is a emergency off ramp where the truck can descend the grade onto some gravel, and there are some water barrels to stop it, which I pointed out on last year's video. We should be getting pretty close to that. So it's one of the reasons why I got in the right lane, so we can get a better view of that. And another difference between last year's video I had, where I had Fort Pitt Tunnel on my Pittsburgh drive, and this video is that last year I had the old iPhone 11. Now I got the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I can shoot in 4K. So any video that I do that's a pre-recorded video, I'll settle for nothing less than shooting it in 4K. So that's the best viewer experience for yourselves too, of course. Yeah, 1080's beneath me. But you can't do anything about that with live streams. They're shot in 1080, so it's okay. The sign to the right indicates the runway truck ramp, half-mile away. And as I said before, it's gravel. That's kind of the upside of having a little bit of a slowdown, is for you, the viewer, to take in the environment before we enter the tunnel. As you see the hilly terrain and everything, how the freeway is essentially just wedged into here. But usually once you hit the tunnel, the traffic will be moving. And we're already just 500 feet from the truck ramp, the emergency stop ramp. I liked on the video last year when somebody tried to get in, but they were very polite about waving and everything. It's kind of fun to catch little things like that, little moments like that on your driving footage. It's nice to have a friendly exchange instead of the road rage you hear about all the time. But there it is to the right. Runway truck ramp. Doesn't seem very long, but obviously that gravel will and should slow it down to a stop. But I'm not zooming or fiddling with anything because safety and driving are the priority here. As I always said in all my videos, safety is paramount. Liberty Tunnel detour. I hope that the tunnel's not closed. I did not hear anything because that's part of the tunnel video compilation or whatever I eventually titled this. I want to catch all the vehicular tunnels of Pittsburgh. And last year, for some reason, I couldn't capture the Wabash Tunnel. That's why I really wanted to do this little project. The construction season, it's always something. Yeah, we are very close to the entrance of Fort Pitt Tunnel right now. 700 feet away. Although it will appear on screen, but I do narrate in conjunction with that. The tunnel factoids. Fort Pitt Tunnel, first construction began in 1957. It was opened in 1960. It is owned and operated by PennDOT. The length is 3,614 feet, 1,102 meters. The width of each tube is 28 feet in diameter, and the height is 13 and a half feet. So tall enough for any standard semi-trailers to get through. And yes, how it says, as the sign says, stay in lane. Do not cross center line. That is illegal. And my parents have inadvertently did that on a trip to Pittsburgh and got pulled over. But here we are, Fort Pitt Tunnel, folks. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to see how this turns out with the new phone. It's actually nice to be going a little slower than usual to take things in. As I said before, it's been said by many, once you exit the tunnel, you'll experience one of the best and grandest entrances to a city and a skyline anywhere in the world. You immediately see the downtown Pittsburgh skyline from the Fort Pitt Bridge, which extends outward from the tunnel. It's always almost that you hear like a louder engine behind you. It could be a truck or a motorcycle or something. But you're not seeing what I see on camera. The camera's capturing too much light. But 3, 2, 1, boom. There you are. Downtown Pittsburgh. Fort Pitt Bridge. said before, it's a view that never gets old. This is Boulevard of the Allies here. And a Port Authority bus in front of us. What I'm trying to do right now is get to Station Square and then get to the other tunnels later. That is it. And I'm on my way to the next one. Now I'm at Station Square, about to approach one of the lesser known tunnels in Pittsburgh called the Wabash Tunnel. And it was closed for a long time. It was originally opened in 1903. It was closed from 1946 to 2004. And during its closure, its owner, the Pittsburgh Regional Transit, formerly known as the Port Authority of Pittsburgh, stored old buses in there. It was remodeled in 2004 as a vehicular tunnel and also for transit buses. So here it is. I remember this was long closed and you just would wonder all these years, what's inside there? But we'll take a look. The length is 3,342 feet or 1,435 meters and a 13-foot 1-inch clearance. Go up a little bit of a ramp here. And the max speed is, through the entire tunnel, 25 miles per hour. Rough 40 kilometers per hour. You can see Mount Washington right there. And to the right, as I came in, that's the Fort Pitt Bridge. I'm a little more cautious here because I only drove through this once before. But here it is. It's pretty short. You see the end already. Yeah, this is a very old tunnel, older than Fort Pitt, older than Squirrel Hill. It looks newer inside, of course, because of a early mid-2000s rebuild. You get air vents going. I just want to make sure my lane was green because it does switch directions based on traffic volume, I believe. According to the camera monitor, it seems to be picking up the lighting very well. And I am the lone vehicle in this tunnel right now. It's quite amazing. That was a quick one, but a very interesting one. A tunnel much less visited. And this does lead to Sawmill Run Road in PA-51. My guess is correct. traveled southbound on it, but this is the south entrance here, coming in the other direction, so you can access it the other way if that lane is open directionally to allow you to do so. But yes, that's where it ends here on 51, Sawmill Run Road, which is also, this road's the southern terminus for the Liberty Tunnels, which I'm looking to feature as well. But that's it for the Wabash Tunnel. Now I'm back on Sawmill Run Road, Route 51, going northbound this time to access the next pair of tunnels, which is the Liberty Tunnels, formerly known as the Liberty Tubes, and they are the longest tunnels in Pittsburgh. To access the tunnels, you simply take the sign that says to Interstate 579 downtown, which essentially, once you exit Liberty Tunnels, that's where Interstate 579 begins. And yes, I can turn right, it looks like. I paused for a moment to make sure the sign didn't mislead me, which it shouldn't, and be in the proper lane to access the Liberty Tunnels. And for years I was calling them Liberty Tubes, and a lot of locals still do call it that. But Liberty Tunnel and Liberty Tubes, Liberty Tunnels, it all is referring to the same set of tunnels here. Coming in from the south side, this is the way of Liberty Tunnel's way of accessing Mount Washington as well. We're taking a left, I think, on PJ McCardle. Here we are. Liberty Tunnels, they were opened in 1924, and the longest tunnels in Pittsburgh at 5,889 feet, 1,795 meters, a 28 feet by 25 foot tube dimension on each tube, and 13 feet 6 inch, 13 and a half feet clearance. We had a shape that does give the impression they look taller than like Fort Pitt and Wabash. But they're pretty much in the 13 foot range. But again, the longest vehicular tunnels in Pittsburgh. As the Fort Pitt tunnels, once you exit them, becomes the Fort Pitt Bridge. I believe Liberty Tunnels is what turns into the Liberty Bridge, also known as Interstate 579. Once you access the Interstate 279 north from there, or if you take left, you head back towards the Fort Pitt tunnels. Fort Pitt Tunnel is my most traveled tunnel in my experience. If there was a second, it would be Liberty. But nearly not as much as Fort Pitt. I think I've been through Fort Pitt tunnels more than all the other Pittsburgh tunnels combined. As an out-of-towner who frequently has visited Pittsburgh. Which would be my 40th year of going down here next year. I start coming down here regularly and pretty much fell in love with the city back in 1986. And all of a sudden it's 2025. This is also a way of accessing the PPG Arena where the Pittsburgh Penguins play. This goes to the east of downtown. So to the left, you will see downtown Pittsburgh. Yeah, but just to that left, as we cross the intersection, you can head up the hill and go to Mount Washington. In Oakland is the neighborhood where the University of Pittsburgh is. I have a no pan policy to move the camera left and right. We are missing out some spectacular views of downtown Pittsburgh to the left and the Monongahela River Valley and the Pittsburgh's south side slopes, which are amazing. As I inadvertently head into downtown Pittsburgh, to keep my eyes peeled, so that ends this portion of the video. Now I'm about to turn on Forbes Avenue at Duquesne University to access the Armstrong Tunnel, which is very tricky with these one-way streets and navigating the GPS. It's kind of throwing me for a loop here and there. I had been through it before, but on a bike when the streets were closed in this area for Open Streets Pittsburgh 2 years ago. And they didn't have that route this year, which I wish they would have, because I like biking through the tunnel. So the Armstrong Tunnel is a distinction. All the Pittsburgh tunnels were the only one I've actually, and for obvious reasons, was able to bike through stemming from that special occasion. If you don't look immediately to your right and catch the sign, you'll miss it. And here it is, the Armstrong Tunnel. Very old school tunnel, very short. See, yes, I remember biking through these tubes. Very well lit. And it goes under the bluffs where Duquesne University sits atop of. So this goes right under the campus of Duquesne. I guess you can walk under here. I do not remember that barrier unless that was put there after, just recently. I'm not sure. I remember crossing that bridge too during open streets. That was the best route. I forget the name of the bridge though. 10th Street Bridge. That's it. Since I'm heading in this direction, I only got one more to go, which is the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. I might as well just head there and do that. But That was the Armstrong Tunnel, folks. So coming up is the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. Now on Parkway East, Interstate 376, making my way to the final tunnel of this video series. It has the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, which I don't go through very often because I generally have no reason and no need to go to the east side of Pittsburgh or the eastern suburbs. It's not very common for me to do so, especially since I live northwest of Pittsburgh. This is closer than I thought, only 3/4 mile away. And we're just about there. It's good to get this video done now because, specifically regarding Squirrel Hill Tunnel, they just had some construction work just outside the tunnel, which delayed traffic and rerouted things. And there's supposed to be some more construction next year that would cause some traffic problems. So it's an opportune time for me to get this done and out of the way. And here it is, Squirrel Hill Tunnel. It was constructed in a long construction range, time frame, 1945 through 1953. It's owned and ran by PennDOT. 106,000 vehicles a day on average go through the Squirrel Hill tunnels. 4,225 feet in length, 1,288 meters, 28 feet wide. It's pretty standard gauge, it looks like, and 13.5 feet height. This tunnel is east of downtown Pittsburgh. It does go under the Squirrel Hill neighborhood. Very good neighborhood, predominantly Jewish neighborhood. Also same neighborhood where I bought my Abington e-bike from Bike Tech in Squirrel Hill. That's sort of the risk you take in being a content creator of my kind, doing real videos. You're going to get a little bit of this. That doesn't look too bad. This is Parkway East, so maybe a little bit of a look at this before I finish things out. Oh, thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video. And again, you know the drill. We would like more content like this and get the word out for others to enjoy and be entertained, informed. Please like this video. Subscribe to this channel if you love videos of this type. I'll bring them to you in spades. Feel free to comment on everything too, as well. If anybody has added any factoids or history to this, any of these tunnels. And I think it's a very interesting aspect of Pittsburgh. Are the tunnels. It's a very old school type of freeway, parkway.